if you're a fan of reality TV shows like The Real Housewives and the like, you're a fan of mess. But I also am a fan of mess. But also I'm a fan of analyzing mess a little bit deeper than what the mess seems like on TV. Book recommendations for you as a fan of mess to help enhance your experience of mess and analyze it to maybe go a little bit deeper in what you're watching and what you read. First up, because most of the shows are based on the idea of friendship amongst women, Sula. Sula is a story by Toni Morrison that talks about what it means for Black women to be friends, what it costs, what you lose when friendships end, and how sometimes being a woman in this type of society requires you to, or expects you to, lose yourself. And what happens when a woman chooses herself, which can kind of be juxtaposed with kind of the relationships or the societal choices or outcasts that women on shows like Atlanta or Married to Medicine face when they decide to reject the idea of marriage and or, you know, whatever other societal norms we have. Which brings me to my next recommendation, Patriarchy Blues, because I think shows like The Real Housewives purport of patriarchy, and also it shows like Married to Medicine do really uphold traditionalist, centralist values, and some of those things can kind of be deeply rooted in patriarchy. And it's interesting to see how those things play out on a show that's about women, but is somehow centering or catering to men in a lot of ways. So it's interesting, and this book kind of made me think about that. The Color Purple, because it's about, of course, friendship, women, and the connection. This is about sistership and kinship, but it's also deeply about friendship between Suge and Celie and Miss Sophia and all of that. A set of books I recommend is Salvation and All About Love. And I think this is a really good recommendation because Bell Hooks is a cultural critic herself. So all of her works are conversations about relevant things in time that she was discussing. And Salvation in particular is a conversation about Black love and how it shows up. And, you know, I don't agree with everything she says, and I think that she has some harsh opinions about some things. But I do think that both of these books offer new sociological ideas and maybe things to think about in how you understand the relationships that you're watching on reality TV. And it also, I mean, what is a greater explanation or example of Black love than, you know, what reality TV is supposed to represent is Black women and their husbands and or their children as well. But yeah, those are some things to think about and to consider reading if you like that type of stuff and if you like messy TV.